Hey guys, Coach Liam here from PFC, and welcome to another episode of the No Bullshit podcast for contractors. So today we're going to be talking about a topic I think that's basically happened to everybody. If it hasn't happened to you in your business, it's probably going to happen at some point. But basically, how to deal with a negative or bad review that you get in your business, whether it's online, feedback from a customer, but really just how to deal with a negative review, specifically how to deal with, let's say, like a 1-star review you get on Google or Yelp or Angie's List, Homestars, anything like that. So we're going to be diving into that, guys, how to manage it, how to respond, how not to respond, some simple tactics you can use, how to kind of do all of your, like, let's say, homework and due diligence and ensure that you have the best case going forward to deal with the review. So kind of getting all your ducks in a row, how to actually respond through those platforms, how to get verified on Google, whole bunch of great stuff. But again, guys, this contract is the no BS contract for contractors, really, right? So we're talking about unfiltered, raw, real opinions, right? We give it to you straight. We don't sugarcoat it. So if that's the kind of contractor you are, that's the kind of stuff you want to listen to, awesome. You're in the right place.
Until right now, this very moment, contractors have always been on their own, not as tradespeople, but being alone and knowing how to take their business to the next level. They call us working class, they call us blue collar. They say that we don't have the smarts to become the business owner that we're meant to be. That is such bullshit. You have the ability. You're more than any of that. The question really is, where do you get the insights that you need specific to contracting to systemize your business so you can get your profits to pay for your freedom? I'm Andrew Houston. I'm going to show you how to make more profits, how to get more control, how to get more freedom in the simplest, quickest way possible without any of that bullshit. Welcome to the No Bullshit podcast for contractors. Listen up, level up, and if you learn something, like the video, subscribe to the channel, change your business, change your life.
Hey guys, Coach Liam here from PFC, and welcome to another No Bullshit podcast for contractors. This is the podcast by contractors for contractors, where we give you the raw, unadulterated, non-sugar-coated advice on everything contracting: profits, cash flow, hiring, sales, marketing, systems, everything you need. Here at PFC, we're trying to help contractors become champion CEOs, get their business to run without them, and get their profits to pay for their freedom. So if that resonates with you, if that's what you're looking to do, or that's the kind of stuff you want to check out, then you've come to the right place. If you don't like real talk, you don't like it raw, you are a bit of a snowflake, then again, this probably isn't the podcast for you, and you can tune out. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about how to deal with negative reviews, the dreaded 1-star review. Okay. Maybe it's on Google, maybe it's on Angie's List, Homestars, House, right? But it's the dreaded 1-star review. We've probably all got this at one point in our business. If you haven't gotten it yet, it's probably only a matter of time. It seems that everybody gets one. Okay. It's almost like a badge of honor in a weird way. And I've gotten a few in some previous businesses, and they suck. And sometimes they don't make any sense. And sometimes they're completely untrue. But again, we're going to be talking about how you deal with these reviews, how not to deal with them, how to handle the negative feedback, how not to react, what you can do to make sure, again, you protect yourself, you get your ducks in a row, some kind of technical stuff on how to become Google verified. And again, guys, just some simple strategies to make sure that moving forward, it doesn't happen to you again, or you really limit your odds of it, kind of occurring again. And if you ever gotten one of these guys, it's the worst, because you're going about your day, or you're driving, or you're just doing whatever, and you get a notification on your phone, or you get an email, hey, you just got a review. You go, you check it, 1-star. Maybe there's a big, negative paragraph, lots of stuff, or maybe it's just a 1-star with nothing there, and you're like, what the hell, right? It's a total, gut punch. It's honestly the worst feeling. Okay. So there are a couple of different ways to ultimately handle the situation. At the end of the day, the best way to deal with this is, one, not react, not get over emotional, because it's already done. And most of the time, there's nothing we can really do to control it. Again, you can't appeal. There is a process with things like Google, Homestars, Angie's List, House, to do an appeal. But again, more often than not, it's hard to. So again, it's kind of out of our hands at that point. But what we can control is, again, how we react and how we kind of respond. But in my opinion, the best way to deal with one of these is just to motivate yourself to go out and bury it in good reviews. You go back to past clients, you get testimonials, right? And you just bury that bad review. You get it out of sight, out of mind, and you move on. But also, again, we want to, really learn from it, see what we can improve, because ultimately this is a learning experience. This is the universe sending us a message. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys really quickly about, again, how not to respond. Okay. It's the most important thing, whether the customer's right or wrong. Getting emotional in the response, calling them out, calling them names, saying they're wrong, personal attacks don't work. Okay. Using negative language, offensive terms, right? Going to make you, no matter what, you're going to look like the bad guy. Okay. You have to also assume that they feel unheard, right? And even if they did bring this to your attention or you did address it, if they're writing the review, okay, we got to assume that they didn't feel heard. And again, if you just like are super contrary, if you get into a he said, she said, or he said, or whatever, right? You're not going to come across to a random person reading this who has no context, as a good person. You have to be very neutral in your language, right? Sympathize with them, empathize, okay? Explain the situation, but you have to, just like how you personally respond in your written response, you have to be cool and collected and not get emotional, not fly off the handle and not be accusatory, right? And not be negative. So that's how we don't respond, okay? If you go off and just, write a whole essay about how, mean they are or how terrible it was to work with them, you just look like the bad guy at the end of the day. So again, focus on what we can do, right? So we want to be empathetic as much as possible. You want to respond to that review as quickly as possible. Not responding quickly, guys, it doesn't look good, right? No matter what, acknowledge their frustration, acknowledge kind of their issues or their grievances. Okay. It goes a long way. Right or wrong, again, be the bigger person, apologize, and focus on what you can provide them or what you've done as a solution. Okay. Thank them, even if you don't want to, even if it's going to make you really angry, thank them for the review, thank them for the feedback. Okay. And publicly offer to make amends, to make it right, to do whatever needs to be done, and to protect your brand. Okay. Second, I really recommend you follow up on that review with another follow-up. Once you have solved it, they might be willing to change their review or write a new review. Okay. I've had that happen to me many times, and you get the person actually to kind of go back and write a new review. So again, we'll give you guys some templates. It'll be in the show notes in the podcast and YouTube. You can click. Okay. We'll give you guys some different templates to respond to this. Really simple. But again, like you're going to get them, right? It's not going to define, it's not going to derail your business, guys. You have to move on from this. If you dwell on it, right, it's only going to make your life worse. It's going to take your focus off other important areas of the business. Now, you guys are listening to this, you're not going to see it, but we're going to go through some examples from our coaching group, from our champion CEO community. One of the guys, Gabe, he had basically a 1-star review. And he said, yes, we recently had a 1-star review. The client kind of felt she'd been price gouged when the work was finished because they finished the job in a small amount of time and she thought it would take longer, right? Even though, they basically already gave her the quote and she agreed to the price. She asked, would there be a discount? To which obviously said, no, we gave you the price. You signed off on the estimate on the contract. You knew the price going in. They went back and forth with some emails, and then she just threw a 1-star review in. Okay. Now in his case, and sometimes to your benefit, guys, they won't write anything because they don't maybe have any legs to stand on because there is a contract in place. There is a paper trail. Okay. If that's the case, you can appeal to Google, right? Provide your documentation. And I want to just pause, guys, because when you get these reviews, what this is showing you is there's somewhere a break in your process probably, or you're not properly setting expectations with your clients or your guys aren't. Okay. This is why it's super critical to document everything. Anytime there's a change order, any back and forth conversation, always ask someone to email or email them back a summary of the conversation and get them to acknowledge it. We can use this as proof, right? If we have a dispute, we can submit it to Google. And we want to use it as proof for a dispute with, let's say, a bad review, but document everything. And again, use this opportunity to really look at your process and go, okay, where did we maybe fail or where there's a gap in our communication with the client that caused them to do this? So like Gabe said, she didn't actually write anything because again, his contract was solid. She had nothing to stand on really. Okay. So again, he said, in retrospect, if he had kind of called her right away or earlier when she was voicing her frustrations about the price, he's like, I probably could have smoothed it over and could have avoided that rating. And for most of you guys listening, there's probably that point where the customer is really frustrated. And that if you just kind of talk to them, you just go over there, you just give them some FaceTime and smooth things out, you probably could have prevented the review. And most of us know that. Okay. But like Gabe said as well, in his post in our group, guys, he goes, to be honest, I think this bad review, which I know again will be rare for us, gave us a really genuine opportunity to show who we are as a company, what we stand for and what our brand is to our other customers, right? By the response we gave. So he's actually kind of glad it's there so people can really learn more about us, right? So they appear real, right? The company made a real, actual real people, not just fake reviews. And then Gabe posted a copy of his response. So we'll share that screenshot, guys, in the show notes. You'll be able to click it. We'll have it pop up here in the podcast. Okay. But again, you can read that. We had another one from Chris. And what Chris actually said is, and I want to talk to you guys about this specifically for Google, is that you can actually get Google verified. You go through a bit of a process, submit documents, you verify your account, you verify you're real, your business is real. When you have that, it's easier for you to dispute or deal with these bad reviews. Okay. If you're unverified versus if you're unverified. Now what Gabe's actually done and what we encourage you guys to do is have your own feedback form, have your own survey that's automated through like your CRM or through like MailChimp or something. And you can send that out like during the job, right when it's done. And that will help filter out the bad reviews because it'll actually deal with you first before going to a Google or a House or a HomeStars when you use your own internal. So you can just use like Google Forms, make your own feedback form, your own survey, send it out middle of the job, send it out end. And if they're really unhappy, they'll tell you, you get on them right away, you call them, whatever, and you're going to prevent that person, again, going to whatever platform they found you through and writing that review. Okay. Now, again, there are just like crazy people out there, guys, who you might even do a job for and they'll give you a bad review. I had that happen to me once. I was actually doing a job and a guy 3 doors down gave us a bad review about like the noise and the dust. Again, if you're verified, right, you have your shit in order, your documents, you can usually deal with those pretty easily. Google's usually pretty forgiving with that stuff because there's no real proof, right? I actually had one of my competitors once write a fake review. I got that taken down. But at the end of the day, they're going to happen. It's how we respond to these things in our business, guys. Like at the end of the day, there's that great quote from a great book called Man's Search for Meaning. At the end of the day, everything can be taken away from you, but the one thing that can't be taken from you is how you choose to respond in a situation that is completely within your control. So use that and know that going into these situations that like, hey, I can control my response. My team can. And if I let this get under my skin, right, it's probably going to derail me from what's going on day to day. And just know, again, if it hasn't happened, hey, maybe start getting your ducks in order because it probably will happen. It happens to basically everybody. And if it has happened, okay, we deal with it like I showed you guys today, right? And now you're prepared if it does happen again. But don't worry. Now, if you're getting like really consistent bad reviews, okay, then something's clearly wrong, in your process. Maybe you're not properly, setting client expectations. Maybe your salesperson isn't. Maybe your guys are doing stuff on site. If that's the case, that's a much deeper problem, and you have obviously some serious issues in, delivery, quality, production, all that stuff. And you need to really seriously address that because that's not a good sign. But I think for most of us, we're doing good work. We're dealing with great customers, and we're delivering a fantastic product to them. So these should be rare. Now, at the same time, the one thing I'll say is that when you do what we preach at PFC, which is like filter fast in terms of like not dealing with C and D clients, you will run into less of these reviews. But again, even an all-star client can have a bad day, can feel slighted, can feel offended and write one of these bad reviews. And there's, again, really nothing you can do about it because it's out of your control. So again, guys, I hope this was really helpful for you today. Again, some simple steps of how to, respond, how not to respond, how to deal with it, right, internally from, let's say a technical perspective in terms of how to get verified. Again, what to say, how to use your language, right, how to be professional. And that's really it. Just be a professional, respond accordingly. You can see some examples that we'll post for members in our group. We're going to share some links of other ways to do it, but just use these things going forward, guys. Again, it's not going to define your life. It's not going to define your business. It's not going to cripple you. It's just one review. And again, you go out, you get motivated, you contact all your past clients, you bury that review in a sea of positivity, and things will be gravy. Okay. So again, this is Coach Liam today, guys. I hope this has been helpful. This is the No Bullshit Podcast for Contractors. If you like this, if you want more, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Okay. Like on Spotify, iTunes, wherever it is, give us a rating. Obviously, hopefully 5 stars if you love it, and you'll get more of our podcasts every single week. We release them every Wednesday. And again, this is Coach Liam. I'm out. Have a great day, guys.